Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to today's meeting of the Public Facilities Commission. Hand it over to TT.
Thank you, Chair Craven. Good morning, Commissioners. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast live. Before we get started, I will ask Colleen Daly, the PFC Secretary, to take a roll call of the meeting participants. Colleen, if you would please conduct the roll call.
Thank you, TT. Please unmute your device and confirm your presence when I call your name. Beginning roll call with the Commission. Catherine Craven, Chair.
Present.
Larry Mamoli, Commissioner.
Present.
Donald Wright, Commissioner.
Present.
TT Lee, Legal Advisor.
Present.
Catherine Pendleton, Article Clerk.
Present.
And with PFD, Carrie Griffin, Director.
Present.
Trish Cafferty, Project Manager 2 for Studies.
Present.
Ellen Gusenek, Senior Project Manager.
Present.
Robertson Castor, Senior Project Manager.
Present.
I'll read for the record the remainder of the individuals in attendance. Attendees do not need to unmute your device when your name is called. Elizabeth Feltner, paralegal for the PFC. Evan Brinkman, Assistant Director for Operations and Design. Rowan McNulty, Senior Project Manager. Pat Mulvey-Welsh, Assistant Director for Construction. Scott Dupree, Senior Project Manager. Erica Bellotta, Training and Compliance Specialist for PFD. And this concludes roll call. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. The first order of business before you this morning concerns draft meeting minutes for the Public Facilities Department and Mayor's Office of Housing on January 31st, 2024. Is there a motion to approve these meeting minutes?
Motion to approve. Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Thank you. The meeting minutes of January 31st, 2024 for PFD and MOH are hereby approved. For the Public Facilities Department, we have Carrie Griffin, Director of PFD. PFD has 3 vote requests on the agenda for today. Vote number 1 is being presented by Trish Cafferty, Project Manager 2 for Studies with PFD. This is a request for amendment to the vote of October 19, 2022 regarding a contract with Answer Advisory Management LLC to provide owner project manager services associated with the Long Island Facility Preservation Project located at Long Island Campus, Boston. This request is for an increase of $241,444. Trish, would you please present your vote request?
Thanks, TT. Good morning, Commissioners. As mentioned, my name is Trish Cafferty, and I'm here to request the Commission's approval to amend the executed OPM contract with Answer Advisory Management LLC for the Long Island Preservation Project. So the Long Island Preservation Project was last before you, as TT said, on October of 2022 for its certification vote, and the contract was executed in January of 2023. The scope of the contracted OPM services is quite long. It includes assisting the City of Boston in managing the design services, design review, cost estimating review, coordination of public procurement processes under Mass General Law, Chapter 149, management of the general contract construction manager, establishment management, and a review of project accounting and cost control systems, project scheduling, preparation and control, development and implementation of a quality control program for the project, construction mitigation and site logistics planning, management of some project meetings, tracking and facilitating the timely resolution of general contractor and construction manager requests for information, submittals, change orders, payments, punch list, and project closeout. So the amendment we are requesting today is the second amendment to the OPM contract. The first amendment was executed through a delegated authority vote because it was less than 20% of the total contract amount. The additional monies from that amendment address the need for healthcare planning services provided by an added subconsultant to the OPM contract. The additional planning services were needed due to the finding that the previous plan for Long Island was out of date with current day healthcare practices for substance use disorder, or SUD. The previous plan was completed prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as changes to the region's continuum of care and an escalated opioid epidemic. So through this first amendment, which we've already executed, a consultant team is currently evaluating the existing island master plan, the region's needs, and updated models of care in order to establish what services will eventually be on the island. So the work is key to understanding how buildings on Long Island may need to be preserved for the future, since that's what the project is doing today. The amendment before you now is the second amendment to the OPM contract. So Though the first amendment requested on the project to be brought, sorry, so it's the second amendment, but it's the first that you're seeing. The amendment is for additional monies to address the need for increased planning services. The additional planning services are related to determining what the first phase of healthcare programs that will open on the island are, which will then aid in determining which buildings will need to be the first to reopen. So if I can direct your attention to the PowerPoint slides, Catherine. Are they up? Great. So, yep. So this first slide shows an aerial view of Long Island campus that you've seen before. It's managed by the Boston Public Health Commission. So on slide 2, this shows a view of the Morris Building interior on the left, while on the right is the laundry facilities in the McGilvery building. So this is what we're trying to determine what services will go in here so that we can think better about the preservation work that will hopefully be starting later this year. And then on slide 3, we have a diagram from the previous Long Island master plan, which illustrates the healthcare services which were originally planned for the island. So this is the service model which the first amendment to the contract is allowing to be updated, and which this second amendment before you today will allow us to select a first phase of services from, taking into account the practical constraints of the Long Island location and the existing building's condition. So that's all for those slides. So based on all of this PFD requested an answer advisory submitted a proposal for a fee for a subconsultant to perform these additional services in the amount of $241,444 to cover the additional planning. This request will bring the total contract cost to $1,031,602. Of significance, expenditure of funds is only permitted after PFD senior management's review and written approval. And lastly, the funds requested are approved by the city's Office of Budget Management as verified with supporting documentation in the project background memorandum. Thank you for your time and review on this vote request, and I welcome the opportunity to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No questions? No question.
Thank you. Motion?
Motion to approve? Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Vote number 1 is hereby approved. Vote number 2 is being presented by Ellen Kizinek, Senior Project Manager with PFD. This is a request for amendment to the vote of January 13, 2021 regarding contract with Skanska USA Building Incorporated to provide owner project manager services associated with the Josiah Quincy Upper School project located at 900 Washington Street and 249 Harrison Ave in Chinatown. The request is for an increase of $69,760. Ellen, if you would please present your vote request.
Good morning, Commissioner. Like TT mentioned, I'm here today to request approval on the amendment for the OPM services contract for Skanska USA Building for the Josiah Quincy Upper School project. Reason for the amendment, again, is this is the fourth request to the Public Facilities Commission to amend the executed OPM service contract with Skanska. This amendment is for additional schedule review services as part of the construction administration services. Skanska's contract and date remains unchanged with this added request. A quick project overview. This project began in 2011 with the selection of HMFH Architect to complete the feasibility studies for combined Boston Arts Academy and Josiah Quincy Upper School. For the reason outlined in the project background memorandum, several feasibility studies were conducted, and in the summer of 2019, the city obtained ownership of 900 Washington Street and 240 Harrison Avenue in Chinatown, which has provided the site for our new JQUS building. The project construction is now well underway, and the new building is expected to open for operations at the beginning of 2024-2025 school year. The Public Facilities Department in the previous amendment has negotiated a fee of $4,889,200 with Skanska to bring JQUS project from design development through construction document and construction administration. Skanska's construction phase schedule review effort have exceeded the base contract, the base contract budgeted amount, and we are now requesting an additional $69,760 for these additional scope services. Catherine, if you could just show the slide. Thank you so much. So this is just a quick rendering, rendering of the project, looking northeast from across the Mass Turnpike. This is slide 2. It's showing photo of the very rapidly progressing interior of the building. And then slide 3 is a brief overview of the timeline completion. So in conclusion, if approved, this AVR will be an important piece of the city's goal of having a new building ready for BPS students at the beginning of the fall of 2024. The Public Facilities Department respectfully requests the Public Facilities Commission's approval for this AVR. Thank you again.
Okay, any questions?
No questions? No questions. Motion to approve? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Ayes have it.
Thank you. Vote number 2 is hereby approved. Vote number 3 is being presented by Robertson Castor, Senior Project Manager with PFD. This is a request for contract award to Left Field LLC for owner project manager services associated with the Madison Park Technical Vocational High School project located at 75 Malcolm X Boulevard, Roxbury. The contract price is recommended at $5,427,600. Robertson, if you would please present your vote request.
Thank you, TC, and good morning, Commissioners. My name is Robertson Castor, Senior Project Manager, as mentioned. I am bringing before you a vote to approve the OPM Services contract with Left Field for the Madison Park Technical Vocational High School, as mentioned, located at 75 Malcolm X Boulevard. The scope of services includes, in addition to managing services during the design phase, we will be requesting Left Field also assist in the GC selection process for CM at risk, performing cost estimating services at the various checkpoints during the design phase, and value engineering as well at all those same checkpoints. There will also be extensive community engagement during design, as well as programming review of the feasibility study and coordinating with all city departments regarding the potential changes to any programming. Basically the project summary, the Madison Park Technical Vocational School occupies spaces in 3 of the 7 buildings that make up the education complex at 75 Malcolm X Boulevard. The buildings were originally built in 1970s and are in major need of rehabilitation and in some cases potentially replacement. Catherine, if you mind showing the first slide. In this slide, we have an overview of the entire education complex located at 75 Malcolm X Boulevard. Madison Park High School occupies spaces in buildings 7, 1, and 2. So part of this work that the OPM will be doing is also bringing on a labor market analyst, to perform labor market analysis to help determine what are the potential job trends that the school should be providing programs that will cater to those certain popular job trends, This project will be a phased project with some of the existing structures occupied during construction, as well as construction of a swing space, which will be within the scope of work to assist with design and construction administration of this space. The services will also include extensive, we mentioned community and student engagement design, where we will be engaging students to get their input and also find ways to involve them in the construction and design process. The request for qualifications went through a public advertisement process, being advertised in the city's small local business enterprise office and on the city record back in October 18, 2023, and in the Boston Globe on October 25, 2023. In addition, it was advertised in the Central Register on November 1st and in Combines on October 30th. We have received 3 submissions, statements of qualifications from Left Field LLC, Colliers, and Skanska. The committee, which consisted of 5 members, 3 members of PFD, myself, Evan Brinkman, the Assistant Director of Architectural Review, Pat Mulvey-Walsh, Assistant Director of Construction, Also a member of Boston Public Schools, James Caradonio, the senior project advisor, and a local Madison Park alumni, Cesar Del Silva, who is also a local resident and business owner. The committee met on November 27th to review the SOQs and shortlisted all 3 firms for interviews. The initial rankings had Left Field as number 1 and Skanska number 2 with Colliers number 3. Interviews were held on December 20th at Madison Park, and at the conclusion of the interviews, it was determined that Left Field was the recommended firm to be brought before the PFD and PFC commissioners. Left Field was selected for their experience with vocational high school projects of similar magnitude, as well as for their experience with tight constrained sites and their the community engagement. And one of the additional subconsultants that was listed is J&E Project Management, an MBE firm locally based out of the area, who will provide assistance with community outreach and day-to-day OPM operations during design and construction. In conclusion, we're looking forward to bringing this contract before you for your approval. Excuse me, Catherine, could you go to the slide? This is a rendering of the sites that were building 7-1 from the previous layout. Potential renderings of the options have been discussed. So I want to make sure we got an idea of what we're looking to accomplish here with this project. But I'd like to bring this forward.
Robinson, what's the total dollar amount on the project?
The total construction budget that was advertised was $660 million.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem at all. Are there any other questions? I was wrapping up, but if there's any other questions, please. Thank you for your time and consideration of this matter.
Good project. I'm assuming the cost for this is because it's phased construction while you're staying occupied in the school. It's not emptying school and have a free site. So doing swing space is probably doubling your cost of this building.
Yes, there's a significant cost for swing space, and we're exploring all options on how to tackle that, including coordinating with trade agencies and whatnot, see what are the options out there. But the swing space, as you mentioned, Larry, is definitely, Commissioner, is definitely complicating the project.
Robertson, would there be an opportunity to house things differently while this is going on? Because, like the original construction of Madison Park, because we did a lot of projects there when I was at school building, or mini projects. Just wondering about the overall bones of the building. Like, did you guys explore building something in behind the building and then taking the old building down eventually? I'm not sure there's a lot of quality construction in the existing building, or is that part of the study?
Commissioner, I'll jump in here for to assist
Okay.
Robinson. How are you?
Sorry,
Great, thank you. So we did a study and we did look at that. We did look at, and Robertson, that was before Robertson was assigned this as the actual project.
Okay.
6-month study. And we looked at 4 concepts, one of them being to build a new Madison on the fields there.
Yeah.
And then turning the fields on the front. And for multiple reasons, one of them being cost, we didn't pursue that further. But we did look at 4 conceptual plans and get pricing on all 4.
Okay,
Thank you, Carrie.
thank you. Sorry, Robertson.
No,
It's a big project.
I agree.
Well, Left Field is a good firm for that. Do I hear a motion? Any other questions, comments from Donald or?
No questions. I'm dealing with a noise issue in the budding space, so my apologies, folks.
No, yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Vote number 3 is hereby approved. This concludes PFD's agenda for today's meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn this portion of the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Here we go.
Thank you, Commissioners. Have a good day.
Thanks, Carrie.